Hi, I'm Alice Cain, and I'm running for delegate in District 30A. I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I am, why I'm running, and what I want to do when I get to the legislature. First, who I am. I'm a mom. I am very active in our community. I serve on the Annapolis Education Commission, working with other parents on behalf of Annapolis City Schools. I have been involved in education starting almost 30 years ago when I was a teacher for GED and English as a second language students. And that led me to get involved in education policy. I've been fighting for public education for 28 years, including working in the U.S. Congress on education policy, where I learned how to write laws, I learned how to build coalitions to get them passed, and I learned how to get them funded. I also spent time working at the Children's Defense Fund, where we work to try to make sure every child in our country has a healthy start, head start, fair start, safe start, and moral start in life. The time I worked there, we were focused on a healthy start, and I helped lead a national campaign that got 2 million more children in our country health insurance who had never previously been insured. I'm part of why I'm running for office. I've been asked to run for years and honestly never had any interest. But the past year changed that, and seeing things like our schools and our environment and healthcare at risk. 146,000 of those children that we got health insurance for in Maryland. And if the White House has its way, that could change. So I feel like the stakes right now for our country are very high, and I want to be part of the solution. So what happened to make me want to run for office in 2018? Well, there's a funny story there. Several months ago, I signed a petition to my former employer, the U.S. House of Representatives, really demanding that they do a better job dealing with sexual harassment and misconduct issues. As a result of that, I was contacted by a reporter and asked to share my story. Didn't know at the time it was the New York Times, but had a really interesting conversation with the reporter who told me that she's spoken to 40 women who had 40 really horrifying stories to tell, and they didn't want to go on the record for fear of repercussions. So she asked me if I would go on the record. I said yes. Ended up in the New York Times story about sexual misconduct in Congress. A few days later, my phone rang, and it was MSNBC. And they asked me to come be a face of the Me Too movement on live national television. Not something I was really dying to do, but thinking about those 40 women who really couldn't do it right now, I decided to take one for the team. And so I went and had that conversation. And that's when sort of a magic moment happened. After I told my story, the reporter turned to me and she said, "Alice, what is it going to take to solve this problem in our country?" And I got to spend the next several minutes telling her exactly what I think that will take. And I got to say, live on national TV, starts in the Oval Office, and it's not okay to have a sexual predator there. And I got to talk about what we deserve as women, as children, as families in this country, in terms of who represents us in the U.S. Senate. And it's not okay to have a sexual predator in the U.S. Senate. This was at the moment where we thought that was about to happen. And that I think in a country of 325 million people, we can find 100 people who respect the dignity of women for that office. So I got home from that, and my phone rang off the hook. I had emails from friends I hadn't talked to in years who saw me telling my story. And I had people reach out who told me that my speaking out inspired them to tell their story and to start working for change. And that's when I realized that I had an opportunity here. And I had an opportunity to take everything I've learned over 30 years in the policy arena and how you write bills, how you build coalitions to get them passed, how you get them funded, and how you actually help change people's lives through policy. I learned how to do that, and I realized I had a moment, if I stepped up, that I could bring that to the legislature and try to do more good and get more people involved in changing our country in the way I think it needs to be changed right now. So I hope you will vote for me and help me raise some cane in the State House. And you do have 2 votes. I hope you will also vote for our Speaker and our other delegate in District 30A, Mike Busch. Thank you very much.